Ladies and gentlemen. You are watching your morning operational briefing for March 29th, 2026, and the weekend has not been quiet. Russia launched 443 drones at Ukraine overnight, the largest single drone strike of the conflict and the second consecutive night of mass attacks well above anything seen earlier this month. No missiles, just drones in numbers designed to overwhelm. We will break down the wave structure, the targets, and what this escalation tells us about Russian intentions heading into the spring campaign season. On the ground, the morning brought a significant announcement from the Russian Ministry of Defense. Full control established over Kovsharivka on the Kupyansk direction, which if confirmed means the battle for the northern bank of the Oskil River is effectively over. And in the Middle East, the weekend delivered two developments that will move markets when they open Monday morning. Iran struck Dubai directly, the first time UAE territory has been hit, targeting a facility reportedly housing American and Ukrainian personnel. And the largest oil refinery in the Middle East, located in Bahrain, has been destroyed. Combined with Yemen's entry into the war announced yesterday, both the Strait of Hormuz and the Bab el-Mandeb are now simultaneously under hostile control. Monday's oil market open will be the first financial verdict on all of this. Let us get into it. In the night of March 28 to 29, the Russian side conducted one of the largest drone strikes of the entire conflict. According to data from the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, 443 drones were deployed in the attack, the second consecutive day on which the Russian side has applied drones in numbers substantially exceeding monthly averages. For comparison, in January through the first half of March 2026, the daily drone deployment volume was approximately 100 units. From the second half of March, this figure has steadily risen to 200 and above. Last night recorded its doubling. Critically, no missiles were used in this strike. The Russian side deployed exclusively drones, which in itself signals a tactical shift. A mass strike without a missile component saturates the Ukrainian air defense system with targets by volume while preserving missile stockpiles for subsequent strikes. Strike structure: multi-wave scheme. The attack was executed in several successive waves from multiple directions. The first drone group departed from the Bryansk area, moving along the Belarusian border toward Kyiv. Using border control infrastructure, this group generated initial load on the Ukrainian air defense system in the northern sector. After the first wave was dispersed or intercepted in the Kyiv area, the Russian side launched a second, significantly larger, group from the Belgorod and Kursk areas. This group transited through Sumy Oblast into the central and eastern parts of Ukraine. From the central area, the drones then split in two directions: southwest toward Kryvyi Rih and Odessa, and toward Mykolaiv. This multi-wave scheme, with time intervals between launches, serves several tactical objectives simultaneously. The first wave exposes air defense positions and draws down interceptor stockpiles. The second exploits the resulting gaps. The diverging final strike directions further disperse the defensive resource. Strike results: Odessa, Mykolaiv, Kryvyi Rih. The largest volume of video materials documenting the consequences of the overnight attack has arrived from Odessa. Numerous explosions have been recorded across the city. Dozens of drones worked against this direction. The specific struck objects have not been verified at the time of this briefing, but the character and direction of the strikes indicate a continuation of the campaign against logistics and fuel infrastructure. As a reminder, Odessa is one of the key transit hubs for fuel and weapons deliveries to Ukraine, including via the Romanian route through the Black Sea. In Mykolaiv, explosions were also recorded, presumably connected to strikes against transport infrastructure. In Kryvyi Rih, video materials have been published showing the consequences of strikes conducted earlier, specifically footage from a locomotive depot documenting the destruction of another diesel locomotive. The systematic destruction of Ukraine's locomotive fleet remains one of the priorities of the Russian strike campaign, as analyzed in detail in previous briefing editions. Ukrainian retaliatory strike. Leningrad Oblast and Kursk. The Ukrainian side conducted a retaliatory strike against Russian territory during the same night. According to open-source data, approximately 150 to 200 drones were deployed. the Russian Ministry of Defense confirmed the interception of 203 drones. Russian air defense operations were recorded in Kursk Oblast. Video materials of intercepts have been published. From the Bryansk area, reports are arriving of Ukrainian ballistic missile use. Leningrad Oblast is again among the priority targets. Fresh video materials have arrived documenting the consequences of previous strikes in the Ust-Luga area. In the St. Petersburg area, fires have been recorded. The aftermath of earlier strikes against energy infrastructure in this region. The Ukrainian side is claiming repeated strikes against export infrastructure in the Ust-Luga area. The satellite question. Russia's Starlink alternative, a topic raised by Ukrainian President Zelensky in recent days, warrants separate analysis. Zelensky has publicly indicated that Russian satellites are recording positions in the Middle East with increasing regularity. Documented imaging targets. March 24, the American base at Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean and Kuwait International Airport. March 25, Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. March 26, an airfield in the Gaza area. The concern of Ukrainian leadership is explained by context. Last week it became known that Russia is launching its own low-orbit satellite constellation, a Starlink equivalent. The Strela 1M rocket, developed from the Topol ICBM platform and capable of delivering payloads of up to 500 kilometers to low orbit at up to 500 kilometers to altitude, is being used for satellite launches. According to available data, Russia plans to bring the constellation to approximately 300 satellites. If this plan is realized, the consequences could prove substantial. Russian units on the line of contact would gain reliable satellite internet comparable to the capabilities Starlink provides to the Ukrainian side. This could significantly level the information and intelligence advantage Ukraine has held for much of the conflict. The Ukrainian side has already declared readiness to destroy Russian satellites if they are used against Ukrainian positions. But at this stage, this is a declaration, not an operational capability. The line of contact, key overnight episodes, Zaporizhzhia direction. On the Orikhiv sector, Russian forces continued infiltration pressure toward Orikhiv. Overnight details of attacks on this sector have been received. According to available data, Russian groups appear to have overcome the first line of resistance on the approaches to Orikhiv. From the Ternov area, Russian published footage documents the repelling of a Ukrainian counterattack attempt. Ukrainian forces mounted an assault on Ternov using armored vehicles and FPV drones. The attack was repelled. All attacking vehicles were destroyed on the approaches to the settlement. The fact that the attack was repelled at the entrance to Ternov additionally confirms Russian control over the settlement. From the Zlahoda area, materials have arrived documenting Ukrainian side activity, FPV drone strikes against structures. The nature of what is occurring is ambiguous. Either this involves a Russian counter-offensive in the Kupansk area, or an attempted breakout by the remnants of previously encircled Russian reconnaissance and sabotage groups. Insufficient confirmed data exists for cartographic changes. Kupyansk direction, conclusion of the battle for the northern bank of the Oskil. The most significant news of the morning of March 29th arrived from the Russian Ministry of Defense. According to an official statement, Russian units have established full control over the settlement of Kovsharivka. If this information is accurate, and a MOD report is an official source, this means the effective conclusion of the battle for the northern bank of the Oskil River on the Kupyansk direction. This settlement was one of the last Ukrainian strongpoints in this sector. Map corrections will be entered upon receipt of verifying materials. The Middle East. American forces in theater and the Dubai strike. On the Middle Eastern theater, several fundamental events have been recorded over the past 12 hours. On March 27th, an amphibious assault group, led by USS Tripoli, arrived in the area of responsibility of U.S. Central Command. Its composition includes the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, with approximately 3,000 of 3,500 personnel, along with transport vessels, strike aviation, and amphibious tactical assets. The group is fully prepared to conduct operations. In parallel, the Wall Street Journal and a number of other American publications reported Pentagon plans to deploy an additional 10,000 personnel to the region. Combined with the 5,000 Marines and 2,000 Special Operations Forces already deployed earlier, the total American contingent in the region could reach approximately 17,000 personnel. According to source assessments, this is insufficient for a full-scale invasion, but entirely sufficient for the seizure of strategically important facilities or island territories, fully consistent with the operational logic of an operation against Keshem Island. Analyzed in detail in previous briefing editions, the Iranian side responded to the buildup of American military presence with a direct strike against Dubai. According to Iranian claims, the target was a temporary deployment of American and Ukrainian specialists in the UAE. The Iranian side is claiming casualties within this group. Independent confirmation of these figures had not been received at the time of this briefing. That said, the fact of the strike against Dubai and subsequent explosions on the territory of the Emirate is documented by video materials from multiple sources. Strikes against Persian Gulf industrial infrastructure. The Iranian campaign of strikes against industrial facilities of Persian Gulf states is continuing with mounting intensity, covering an increasingly broad range of targets. In Bahrain, a national drone ban has been introduced. The largest oil refinery in the Middle East, located on the territory of the kingdom, has been destroyed. Video materials of numerous explosions and subsequent fires have been published. The Bahrain aluminium plant has also been struck and engulfed in fire following a series of Iranian attacks. In Kuwait, the situation around the international airport remains unstabilized. Fuel storage facilities in the airport area continue to burn. Local emergency services have been unable to extinguish the fire. Normal airport operations are disrupted. In the UAE, Emirates Global Aluminium in Abu Dhabi reports significant damage from missile and drone strikes. The production capacity of the region's largest aluminium producer has been substantially reduced. The logic of the Iranian strike campaign is transparent. After the coalition began striking Iranian metal processing and metallurgical facilities, Iran announced a symmetrical response and is implementing it methodically. Strikes against aluminium plants, oil refineries, and fuel storage of Persian Gulf states serve a dual purpose, inflicting economic damage and demonstrating the ability to strike the industrial infrastructure of coalition allies at any point in the region. Economic consequences: oil and aluminium. The totality of what is occurring on the Middle Eastern theater is generating mounting pressure on several commodity markets simultaneously. Oil, the dual maritime blockade, the Strait of Hormuz, and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait continues to constrict global tanker traffic. The addition of strikes against Bahrain's oil refining capacity and Kuwait's fuel storage creates a further upward price impulse. Monday's market open on March 30th will occur under conditions where the market is pricing in Yemen's entry into the war, the Dubai strikes, and the destruction of the Bahrain refinery for the first time. Aluminium strikes against Emirates Global Aluminium and Bahraini production capacity mean reduced supply from a region accounting for a significant share of global production of this metal. Aluminium is a strategic material for the aerospace and defense industries. Its shortage carries both economic and defense industrial consequences. Fertilizers: the situation remains unchanged. Russian and Belarusian market dominance, with Middle Eastern competitors sidelined. Consolidated assessment: the morning of March 29th records simultaneous escalation on both theaters, with several key focal points. On the Ukrainian theater, the record overnight strike of 443 drones confirms the Russian side's transition to a new level of strike campaign intensity ahead of the spring-summer military campaign. Simultaneously, data is arriving of a possible conclusion to the battle for the northern bank of the Oskil, pending confirmation of the Kovsharivka capture. On the Middle Eastern theater, the arrival of USS Tripoli with the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit means that the American amphibious component is now physically present in the operational area. The Iranian strike against Dubai, the first strike directly against UAE territory, marks a new geographic threshold of the conflict. The systematic destruction of Bahrain, Kuwait, and UAE industrial infrastructure is generating mounting economic damage capable of either breaking the political will of Gulf states for further confrontation, or, conversely, accelerating their entry into the coalition. Monday, March 30th, will be the first full trading day following all events of the outgoing weekend. The reaction of oil and aluminium markets will deliver the first financial verdict on what has occurred. Briefing compiled as of the morning of March 29, 2026. The situation on both theatres continues to develop actively. A number of data points, primarily regarding Kovsharivka and the Dubai strike, require verification as additional materials become available.